This video will be about how to read John Deere controllers and their compatibility with other John Deere systems. And I'm going to show a chart here next and go through these charts, and it will explain a lot of what's compatible with what product John Deere makes. This is a particular item I'm looking at here is a planter, and this is a processor here laying here. This is a green processor and or controller, I guess you could call it controller, and it'll give a date code on the back, 2009. There you can see that's when that was produced. This particular planter had a 350 motor when it came out of the factory, and there was the adapter goes in here, and this goes back into a rate controller. Because this particular planter has a rate controller because it has ag leader clutches. This is a John Deere planter, but it's using ag leader electric row clutches. The rate controller on the back is 12 volt output. These are 12 volt, so it will work. It just passes through and runs them. No problem there. But this planter came out of the factory in 2005 with a 350 monitor, and it is currently being run with individual clutches through a rate controller, and has been changed over to a Seedstar 2 Generation 1. Right there is the rate controller, and that rate controller will work with a 4640 monitor, which again I'm going to show the chart in a minute, as long as it's been downloaded to the 3.6 software version. Now this chart here shows the different evolutions of monitors, and then the controller, which the color is the color of the box. So you had Seedstar, 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 which Gen 1, Gen 1, and Gen 2. Well, Seedstar is sometimes referred to as Seedstar 1. And all the original CAN systems started with a 4.5 volt CAN system. Now, interesting fun fact, and you can see the model years that it was produced. You cannot get a tractor wiring harness kit for the 4.5 volt CAN system anymore. So say you buy a Seedstar 1 planter, your tractor does not have the CAN on it. The wiring harness kit, you go out to buy the wiring harness kit, it's going to be a 2.5V system. So in other words, if your tractor is not already ready to set up for it, such as maybe like an 80 100 or something that came out with it, you're not going to be able to get that for the back of the tractor still, unless you find it used. As they went to the gray controllers, the ears, then they had the dual cans, dual voltages. And then obviously from there on out, they eliminated the 4.5 volt systems and went all to a 2.5 volt system. Then Seedstar, the Gen 2, ended up as a gray with certain pin numbers of 04 to 08. So our planter would have fit right in there with Seedstar, and it would have factory been original as a brown. The Seedstars, by the way, were all brown box displays, which I showed the brown box earlier. So our planter being an 05 would be classified in this area here. Now, they did sell a conversion kit, which converted them to Seedstar 2. And you can see here, Seedstar 2, it's a Gen 1, which has the green, which is what's on our planter. And that was 9s and 10s. 2.5 volt cans. Now, I have this circled on here, so I'm going to come back to it after I read you another page. Seedstar 2 and the XP, black, 2011 and after. That's where they had Seedstar 2. They went to XP. Then the XP, they obviously went to the silver controllers. So if you get a planter that's 11 and up with the silver controllers, you do have a better planter. And that's where you also had the integrated pneumatic downforce system. And then you move on up the line here a little bit to Seedstar 3, model years again, and then as it ended up on this particular chart, Seedstar 3, and now they've went to a SeedStar 4, which only works with the Gen 4 display or the 4640s. This chart here is the Generation 4 compatibility, which I showed you earlier, the 4640 to Gen 4 displays, and it shows which tractors come with the Gen 4 displays. And I'll see if I can pan out here so you guys can catch this in case you do want to pause it and you can read through yourself, and you can see that it has the command center, such as the new 9 R series that comes with it integrated. And you could use it with a 4640 as well. And then older tractors such as the 7030 series, you can go ahead and throw the 4640 in there instead of using like a 2630. This is page 2. This is more of the same compatibility charts here. As you get down through your compatibility chart here, you get to the bottom, which talks about combines. And if you notice there, this is 2008 to 2013 70 series. Yes, they are compatible with the 4640 motor, which we will be running in our 9870. If you have a 9860 combine, you are screwed. You cannot run the 4640 display. Last page of my pamphlet here gets a little more sticky. This involves the planters. And you can read it here. I'm going to put it so you guys can read the screen. It talks about the SeedStar 4 at the top, which is only compatible with a 4600 or a Gen 4 display. Then it says SeedStar 2 is now available as a factory installed option on the 2011 and newer planters, and may be field installed on all 2009 and 2010 planters. The green PA and PM controllers, factory installed on model year 09s and 10s, are not supported by the Gen 4 display or the 4640. So as you go down to your chart below, there you go. You can see how that works and what's supported with which one. Now, for us personally, using a 4640 on the 2005 planter that was converted to SeedStar 2 in 2009, which means it had the green box, we have to change the green box to the black box, which again would be your colors of your boxes, which goes back to the original chart that I talked about. This is an 8400R that I'm sitting in right now, and this is the monitor here. It's part of the armrest. It attaches with a little leg down there. And that is also referred to as a 4600 monitor or Gen 4 display. And they also sell the same screen, but it mounts to the corner post brackets, and that is referred to as a 4640. A 4640 and this display are the same, except this is just integrated to the tractor design, whereas the other is universal and is able to move around amongst older John Deere tractors. Only the most current R series tractors have this display available. And you also see some of these that say extended monitor. Well, extended monitor is this display here. Then they'll bring another one from the corner post out, and they will basically just be another screen, so you can have two screens. That is called extended monitor. So this will be your new designed system here. This is the new system that John Deere is using, which if you do have a SeedStar 4, this will be the only compatible system. Unfortunately, as I pointed out in the video, it's incompatible with older equipment. What we are personally trying to face is using a green or a planter with a green processor and using a 4640. We cannot do that because they're non-compatible. So we're going to have to change the planter over to a black processor to make that work. This monitor did replace the 2630. The 2630 display replaced the 2600. And the originator of all of it was the brown box, which I will show you next. This is the brown box, original brown box display, and right next to it is a 2630. It is a bracket provided by John Deere that will allow both units to sit on the same. This particular machine's is 4700 sprayer, and it operates through the brown box, and the GPS and all your documentation and mapping and everything else will come in through over here. Originally they did have parallel tracking, which was just a straight line, which is the first evolution to auto track, which did operate through the brown box. We are attempting to use JD Link, which is a 4G network. We're also using in-field data sharing, which is a program where you can run two units, a 4640 and a 4600, and that which is what I showed you in the $8,400 tractor there. And those two units will communicate with each other, so the planter clutches on this planter will communicate with the clutches on the other planter. So you can both fill in the same map, use each other's maps. Now, the only way we're going to be able to accomplish that would be to use a black processor, which we are still in the process of seeing what wiring harnesses we can get to change this over, so it'll allow us to use the black processor. A 2630 and a 4640 or 4600 will not communicate with each other. 2630 and 2630 will communicate with each other, but not incompatible machines. And you also need to have the same globe. Starfire 3000, which is the minimum to do in-field data sharing. So hopefully this clarifies some things about compatibility throughout John Deere products. And if you have any questions on it, I'll do my best to answer. Just put that in the comments below. And a word of the wise, learn this stuff before you go buy a planter, because there's chances are you could run into major component compatibility issues. And for that fact, this planter could be run with the 350 monitor still to just regulate the rows, and then put the rate controller on it to run the clutches only. That is a possibility. Anyway, again, any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks for watching.